What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully everyone is having a good day thus far, whether that's a morning, evening, or afternoon. Again, hopefully it is going well for you. So for this trailer review and reaction, we are taking a look at this newly released trailer. As you can see from the timestamp, this just came out yesterday, so we are looking at it for the first time this morning. Marshmallow, that's the name of the film. So Marshmallow trailer, summer camp horror movie from Black Friday writer, sets April release. So we are going to jump into these article details briefly. Then we are going to take a look at the trailer. Now again, as you know, I do not like going over in-depth summaries or synopsises. When it comes to trailer reviews, I like to just watch the trailer, have a reaction to it, see what I think about the film, and go from there. But if it is like one or two sentences, I do cover off on that just to give us some foundation up to what we're walking into, but nothing, in too much detail. So I'd imagine this is probably an image from the trailer that we can expect to see. And then we have here a campfire horror story becomes a living nightmare in the upcoming horror movie Marshmallow. And the summer camp horror movie has been dated for a spring release. Hemlock Circle will release Marshmallow in theaters on April 11th, 2025. So we have, roughly just under 2 months before we get this film. In the film, so we do have it's two sentences, so we'll cover off on this one. I'll read this whole one. So roughly 2 sentences. So at a scheduled summer camp, Morgan, a shy, introverted 12-year-old, is thrust into a living nightmare when a legendary campfire tale becomes real. As a mysterious figure begins stalking the camp, Morgan and his newfound friends must embark on a perilous journey that will force them to confront their deepest fears and question the very nature of their existence. All right, so that's not too bad. It doesn't give us too much information as to what we can expect to see, but it does lay at least a decent foundation as to what this is going to be about. All right, so we have casting here. We don't need to read through all that. Director, don't need to read through all that. Ahead of the film's April release, check out the new trailer below, which introduces. Okay, so we have the trailer and we have the poster here. Okay, so I'm digging the poster. It has that 80s vibe to it, as far as the look, the feel, the colors to it, how it's being presented. I do like, it is very 80s because you have all the, in a lot of modern posters, you don't see like all of this information at the bottom. Now, you've all heard me say this before when it comes to movie posters, the cleaner the better, the less text the better. Now, while I do appreciate this style from that time period, I would prefer not to have it at all. Have the title, maybe bring down this black, border down just a little bit more, have Marshmallow where all the credit information is, get a little bit more of the picture, and then even remove this up here. Question everything, I don't think that's needed. Or if you're gonna have that, have it maybe down here at the bottom somewhere or above the title, but just have the image itself clean. There doesn't need to be any text, any logos, anything like that within the actual image itself. But again, that's just my opinion. That's how I prefer my movie posters, especially when it comes to modern ones. But I know this one is taking a different turn. It's not looking for that modern look. It's looking for that more, again, 80s slasher horror film look, which I can appreciate. So I'm okay with it. I do like it for the style it's going for, but if it was a more modern take, I would definitely not want any of this here at the bottom. So, all right, everyone. So that's all the information we have in this article. So we're going to get right into the trailer and see what this one is about.
I hear that you are going to summer camp.
I'm being sent to summer camp.
Sweetie, tell your counselors if you have any trouble sleeping, they can get in touch with us.
Hey, welcome back, guys. Hey, how are y'all? Welcome.
I know you don't understand this, but you need this. And I swear it's gonna be the best summer ever.
First year here? Yeah, I can tell.
Your file mentioned that you have nightmares sometimes. There used to be cabins all throughout these woods. One of those cabins belonged to a doctor. He had this huge cellar in the basement. If you stay up too late, or if you leave your cabin past curfew, you just might see the doctor.
I saw him.
He's not real, Morgan. It's just a dumb story.
All right, so yeah, I think that's it feels like almost if you've seen any of the Friday the 13th films, especially any of the first four films, actually not, yeah, the first four films, I feel like there's aspects of that in there. I believe it was Friday the 13th. I think it was part two, right, when we actually get introduced to Jason. If I recall correctly, there is that aspect at the beginning where they are sitting around a campfire. They are telling the story. The main counselor, the guy that's in charge, is telling the story about Jason. Everyone gets scared. Then he's like, I don't want to hear any more about Jason. Jason's dead. It's a myth. It goes on, and eventually everyone ends up getting killed. It has. I mean, we see that kind of play out here a little bit. They tell the story about this. The boy, I think his name was Morgan, sees off in the distance what appears to be what they're calling this doctor. No one believes him, obviously, and you can see in the article mentioned he's introverted. We can see that there's going to be some aspect of bullying towards him in this film. We saw it, I think, 3 or 4 times. He was pushed into the lake. He was pushed down in the cabin. He was, I think, at one point. We don't know if it was him, but we saw another kid, from the looking up, punching down as if he was punching down on top of somebody. So that could have been him beating up Morgan as well, right? So as you all know, when it comes to so hear me out. I understand for the story they're telling, right? That's part of the story they're telling. Obviously, when it comes to bullying, I don't condone it in any way, shape, or form. Anyone knows my stance on bullying. I don't have tolerance for that I don't have tolerance for that in any way. So when it comes to seeing it in films, I know it's a movie. I know it's not real, but I look at some things like this when it comes to films that there are kids out there who actually live and breathe that every day, whether it was whether it's today or they did when they were a kid. So those types of things, I find a little, even in films, I find difficult to watch. But again, I know it's not real. However, with that said, we do see that he is bullied when he gets to this camp. It's his first time at a camp. I never went to camp as a kid, as far as like this. Never did anything like this, so I have no point of reference of activities, what happens there, what doesn't happen there. But what we see here is that he obviously is known, or it comes out that he has these dreams, these vivid dreams, and we see that play out. We see that play out as far as water pouring out of him, filling up the cabin. We also see what appears to be his either his dad or his stepdad, that they're sitting at a table within the cabin, because we can see everything is kind of run down. It's like everything is not burned, but very again, just the cabin is run down, the table is run down as if it's been there for a long time. So we see that he's having dreams or visions of whatever trauma that's happened within his home. He's experiencing there as well. But eventually, I mean, everyone believes him, or I would imagine believes him, that this doctor is alive, because we see a point where a whole bunch of kids are lined up against the wall with this light shining on them. So either the doctor has captured them, or they were all out like investigating and starting to believe Morgan, and one of the counselors caught them, and now they're just all caught and they're just getting in trouble, right? So I think this is also kind of feels like one of those urban legend type films, right? I mean, we dabble a little bit in some of the original Friday the 13th stuff and how it's kind of being set up, urban legend stuff. Hey, this is real, not real. One kid sees it, the rest don't, and then some start to believe him because people either start going missing. That's probably camp counselors having relations with each other, because we know that's one of the rules in horror films, and one of the classic rules when it comes to 70s, 80s horror, that typically, especially in the Friday the 13th films, anytime that was happening, you knew that those people were going to get killed. So overall, I think this is it's an interesting title for the film, but when you know what the film is about, the title Marshmallow then kind of makes sense. I mean, they're at a summer camp, so that makes sense. I'm interested to see this one. I don't think we see too many of these. I mean, I think the majority of the films we've seen that take place at a campground like this have always been Friday the 13th, Camp Crystal Lake. So we haven't seen too many others go down this path. So interesting to see it. Hopefully it can distinguish itself from Friday the 13th. Hopefully it doesn't feel like Friday the 13th, but we'll have to wait and see. This is just the first trailer. We do have it coming out in just under 2 months, so we'll come back with a spoiler review once the film comes out, and we'll let you know what we think. Otherwise, drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think about the film Marshmallow coming out in April, if you're interested in this film. Also, if you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We are getting closer and closer to that 500 mark subscribers, so every little bit helps. Otherwise, we will see you at the next one. Peace.